Okay, here we are. So I want to thank everyone for coming to our October and final 2020 luncheon, which we are now, of course, holding virtually. We're excited to have our city manager here today, Robert Tamble, who's going to give us an update on all kinds of things that are going on with the city. I've got a chance to get a sneak peek of his presentation, and it is just chock full of very interesting information. Once we complete this and complete our luncheon today, this recording plus his slides again will be available on our Facebook page, on the city website, and on the chamber website. But I'm going to, at this time, turn this over to our chairman of the board, Jill Strube.
Well, thanks, April, and hello and welcome. And thank you for joining us. And of course, thanks to all the sponsors and to Robert Tamble, the city manager, for reporting about the state of the city today. We really appreciate all of his reports and all of his activity and always being so transparent in the city, making sure everyone knows what's going on. April tells me that this is the last time that I'll be addressing a chamber luncheon as the chair of the chamber. It's getting close to the end of the year, and starting in January, Linda Bauer will be taking over as your new chairperson. And her incoming chair is going to be Gina Cronus-Bear, so we're all very excited for the transition. I just wanted to say that it has been truly an honor and a privilege to serve as the chamber, and of course to serve the community, the city of Smithville. It's been really an amazing part of my life to be here in this town, honestly. T.S. Eliot once said, "If you aren't in over your head, how do you know how tall you are?" I think that's been really appropriate for pretty much all the years that we've been here. We are all standing taller in this most challenging year because we have all been working together to help each other up. Thank you all for your support and your efforts for building up this community. Many thanks to Bluebonnet also for being the title sponsor today. Debbie Gertz is here today, and Debbie, thank you for everything that you do for the community. I wanted to offer you time to give a few words as well.
Well, thank you, Jill. And we so enjoy working with the city of Smithville. It's so good to be with you all today. And I look forward to a time when we can all be together in person again instead of doing it virtually. But in the meantime, I think that you all are definitely making the most of it by holding these virtual meetings and keeping us together and in contact that way. And I appreciate that. And so does Bluebonnet. The work that you're doing in Smithville and in Bastrop County is so important and affects and touches so many people's lives. And we at Bluebonnet want you to know how much we appreciate everything that you all are doing and how much we enjoy being a part of the community and serving in this community. So thanks for letting me have a few minutes to say something, and I look forward to the rest of this meeting. You all have a great day.
Thank you, Deborah. We really appreciate that. And again, on behalf of the Smithville Area Chamber of Commerce and our chamber board, we just want to thank Bluebonnet for always being such a big support. And on that note, I want to remind anyone that's on our panel to mute their cell phones.
I have a timer.
Just kidding, Robert, just kidding. Before we get started, again, I just want to say a big thank you to my dear friend and the chairman of our board, Jill Strube. She goes above and beyond all the time. She's fantastic. And I can see that several of our board members are watching today. So thank you all for all your hard work and dedication to the Chamber of Commerce. I want to very quickly just give you a little rundown of all the upcoming things that we have going on before I turn this over to Robert Tamble. Tomorrow we have a photography within graphic design class at noon. Feel free to register and come on and participate in that program. We've had a whole bunch of classes this month, including a 4-part series on how to build your own website and to create your own online store. Yesterday we had a fantastic class on marketing on a shoestring budget. We will continue to bring those classes to you as we continue to do our best to serve our members in these very challenging times. We launched on the 25th our Shop Local Holiday Gift Card Program, and every Friday through the December 20th, we'll do a Facebook Live drawing for anyone that turns in at least $10 worth of receipts where they purchase something here within our city limits. We want to support shop local in all ways, and you'll be surprised at all the things you can buy right here in Smithville at all sorts of wonderful stores and restaurants here in our city. On November 5th, we're hosting 2 ribbon cuttings. The first one is at Chevron, where they have added several new services, including expanding their U-Haul services. They are now the Amazon hub, where you can drop off and have delivered things to their Amazon lockers out there. And they also have a new bakery and breakfast taco and Mexican food out there. So come out for the ribbon cutting on November 5th at 5 o'clock. And then on the very same day at 6 o'clock, we'll have a ribbon cutting for the brand new Fat Cat Lounge, which is at 301 Main Street. So that's at 6 o'clock. So come on out for that. On November 14th, of course, is airing of the quilts. So head downtown and see all the beautiful quilts hanging all along our central business district. And thank you to our Mars Jones Funeral Home for our title sponsor for that event. November 5th through 7th, our Keep Smithville Beautiful Committee of the Chamber is hosting a fall street sweep. You can register for that to be a volunteer and help us do cleanup within our community. We'll provide all of the trash bags and gloves and little picker-upper claw things, and we'd love to have you come out and participate as we do a cleanup in a way that's safe and socially distanced. And of course, we'll provide masks and all the things that you need for that. We are on November 18th, will be our next virtual luncheon. That will be Judge Paul Poppy, who will give us a state of the county at noon. So just log in and register as you have for these other events we've done. On November 21st, the gingerbread men come out to play. If you've not gotten your gingerbread men, just call us and let us know. The gingerbread men proceeds from that will go towards the Let It Glow, where we're going to do a decorating contest and we are asking folks to decorate their commercial properties, their residential properties. Those will all be judged by the Smithville Garden Club, and we'll give nice big prizes to the winners. So be sure and register and participate in that fun program. And finally, I just want to mention that in October, we had some wonderful events. We had our first annual golf tournament, which was a big success. And we co-sponsored that with the Lions Club and the Masons. We also had our very first week-long Eco Photo Fest. You can now call me Queen of Zoom, because I really had to learn how to do Zoom to make that work. And it was a really great success. And thank you to Doug's Plumbing for being the title sponsor for that. And then, of course, October 31st coming up is Halloween Spooktacular on Saturday from 5 to 7:30. 25 businesses will be handing out candy. We'll have a haunted house and ghost tours, all of which will be outside. You'll need to wear your masks and socially distance, but it'll be a fun way to come out and enjoy the holiday, and it should be a beautiful night. I also want to thank our title sponsor of that, which is First National Bank. Now that was a mouthful, and that's a lot coming up, but we're busy, and that's what we're here for. So Robert, did I make enough announcements there for you? Are you ready to go?
Do I have any time left?
You have plenty of time.
Okay.
We have given Robert Tamble 45 minutes to speak. So I'm going to jump off the line and let Robert take it away. Thank you, Robert.
All right. Thank you, April. And thank you for everyone who is taking the time out to listen to the State of the City presentation. And for all the volunteerism that goes on within our community, all the people that serve on boards and committees. Thank you a bunch. It takes a village. As far as the state of the city update, well, the lights are on, the toilets are flushing, the water's running. Any questions? Oh, okay. No, really. Let me move on. Today, I'd like to cover specifically some accomplishments of the 2020 fiscal year. Talk about a few current issues. I want to review some infrastructure and development projects. I'm going to finish up with 5 things every citizen needs to know, and then answer any questions that you might have. 2020 was a very busy year, and these are projects that were accomplished above and beyond what it takes to keep the lights on, the water running, and the toilets flushing. I'm not going to cover each of these per se on this slide, as they'll be addressed throughout the presentation. One thing that I'm really proud of that occurred during the fiscal year is the reopening of the 4th Avenue Bridge, the demolition and reconstruction of that bridge. November 20th of 2019, the bridge was closed for safety reasons. And TxDOT, actually, we were able to find the funding for them to pay for the bridge, $1.4 million. They brought the biggest crane that I've ever seen in the history of cranes. It was a 935-ton capacity crane that you see up here on the right-hand side of the screen. The phenomenal thing about this project that the bridge was demolished, designed, and rebuilt within 9 months. That's really unheard of in the construction and road bridge making industry. I did not know at the time that releasing balloons to the environment would cause so much consternation with the citizens. The next $1.4 million bridge that we build, I'll make sure that doesn't occur. The good news here is that the cost of the city was $6.5 thousand in administrative match and $45,000 in utilities relocation. So for $50,000, we've got $1.4 million, which represents minimal impact to the taxpayers. Coming down, we're really proud of the fact that we received a grant from the St. David's Foundation, a Parks with a Purpose grant. It was a $100,000 grant that enabled us to build a new playground with a shade structure. It's hard to believe that what you're looking at in the screen represents $100,000, but playground equipment is expensive, and the community is already enjoying this facility. So if you haven't stopped by, please, I encourage you to do so. Another accomplishment of this year was a National Endowment of the Arts grant that allowed us to put up wayfinding signs on Loop 230 and Highway 71. These signs, I think, really help people get around who aren't used to our community, and they actually look pretty nice. So Jill and company, good job. I want to thank all the city council members, the city staff and personnel for the jobs that they do. None of this could be accomplished without your continued support and effort. I mean, the guys that keep the streets safe, that go out in the middle of the night during a storm, I couldn't lead a better group of people, and I want to thank them for their efforts. I have a couple of KPIs I want to share with you. You'll see on the screen some key measurements that I've been tracking. The good news is most are tracking positive, with the exception of our hotel occupancy tax. And we just didn't have a lot of people staying in our hotels due to COVID. The rest of the metrics are pretty much trending positive, and one that I'm very proud.
What's the name of that tutoring over House of Tutors in Austin? Yeah. On West Campus?
Okay, well, the house, you need to mute your phone, whoever's speaking. You threw me off there. Okay, so what I'm most proud about this, even during a global pandemic, we had 27 new businesses open in Smithville. You know, those people taking the entrepreneurial jump, and we really appreciate those folks investing in our community. Talk about a couple of issues that are going on. I wanted to give you a COVID-19 situational update. It's day 227 since the disaster was declared back in March of 2020. There have been 1,993 confirmed cases, 1,851 recoveries, and 111 active cases. In Smithville, we've incurred 72 cases in the 78957 area code, 27 within the city limits, and 45 within our ETJ. We are seeing an increase in the number of hospitalizations, the number of patients on a ventilator, and an overall increase in the number of cases incurred in Bastrop County. Our positivity rate over the last 2 weeks is about 5.2%. The state of Texas is 8%. So we are seeing an increase in the number of cases, and the city mask ordinance is still in effect. Oops, excuse me. And it's very important that you continue to wear your mask, as it will provide protection, as shown in the video. Just kidding. Is anybody hearing this? Am I all alone here?
Very funny, Robert. I saw it. Good job.
Thank you very much. We have postponed most of our large outdoor events as a municipality, the Wing Fest, the Festival of Lights Parade, and most parades in general. and we will continue to do so. Under the current Governor Abbott's Executive Order GA 32, outdoor gatherings are still limited to 100 people or less, unless the local authority having jurisdiction, i.e. the mayor or the county judge, approves such events. General businesses and restaurants can now open up to 75% occupancy if they do follow the rules regarding masks and social distancing. Bars are allowed 50% occupancy. So folks, we're not out of the woods yet. As I said, we're seeing an increase in the numbers. So wash the hands, cover your cough, wear the mask, stay 6 feet apart, and stay home if you're sick. Another issue I want to communicate to the citizens is delinquent utility accounts. We have not disconnected anyone since March of this year. We've waived late fees, and as a result, we have incurred a significant increase in the amount of delinquent accounts to the tune of 69 people with accounts greater than 90 days late owe more than $175,000. Now, we applied for funding through the CARES Act to provide some relief to these individuals. These folks are eligible for $750 credit to their bill if they come in and fill out the paperwork to make arrangements to pay down their past due balances. They also need to complete a survey. Most important thing is once you make the agreement, you must keep your current bill paid and not miss a payment. If you do not keep your bill current, your power will be disconnected. I know that sounds cold, but we're a business as well, and we will start disconnects on November 3rd. The good news is of the 69 people, about 35 have already come in and made arrangements. So please communicate this program to those that you may know. We've also reached out to the people. So I feel very good and thankful that we have the ability to give some relief to those in need. This is from a St. David's Foundation grant. So $51,000 will be spread among 79 people to help reduce their debt and get them back on track. All right, so let's talk about projects and plans. Again, I like the opportunity to tell you what's going on. It's amazing how much on a daily basis that we spend making sure that the lights are on, that the water is running and the toilets are flushing, but it's also planning for the future. We're in a period of unprecedented growth. You have to take care of your infrastructure, and our focus going forward is infrastructure improvement, economic development, and fiscal responsibility. Today, I want to focus on those infrastructure and development projects that we have in the pipeline. I'm not going to cover each one of these, but I typically try to do a single-page summary for our infrastructure and development projects, and that's what I'm going to cover in the next 15 minutes. For our infrastructure, historically, those projects tend to take a long time and are very expensive. Drainage, water towers, sewer improvements. And so I'm going to go through the single-page summaries of several of the infrastructure projects that we either are currently supporting or will be supporting in the future. One of the projects that was completed this year that I'm very proud of as the result of the Halloween floods back in 2015, again, long lead time, very expensive, is the Marburger Drainage Improvement Project under DR 4245, which was a disaster declaration. We spent $340,000 improving drainage in the Marburger-McSweeney area. And this is why. There were houses on Marburger that continuously flood. And after the effort, we now have a drainage system that works. Another project that we have with respect to drainage is the 2nd Street detention pond that's behind the MLK warehouse. This was a $700,000 project with a 75-25 match. As you can see in the lower corner, during Harvey, it flooded about 2 feet. And I'm in this building and I'm thinking, wow, electricity is still on. I probably don't need to be in this building with electricity on with 2 feet of water. But the good news is this project is 99% complete. This pond is a 3.5 million gallon capacity pond that's going to help drainage on 2nd, on MLK, on Eagleston, and on 1st, as well as help prevent our warehouse from flooding. This pond, to give you some comparison to the 7th Street pond, is about 25% smaller than the 7th Street Pond. So very happy that this project was funded and is now complete. Water storage tank repair for our water towers and storage tanks are 20+ years old, and some even older. We took out a certificate of obligation to make repairs, necessary repairs to our tanks back in 2018. We got the money in 2019 and bid the projects, and GSC Industries are the one that is currently working to refurbish our towers. And it's amazing that these folks are dangling from 150 feet in the air, sandblasting the water towers. We've gotten finished with the 50,000 gallon storage tank at the Gasly on the Faucet water plant. And we're now working at the rec center. And if you've seen all the noise and wondered, you know, it's a big hat on top of a golf ball. I got to give credit to these guys that do this on a daily basis. The new lettering, there's a photo on the upper right-hand corner of the screen now. That is our city logo that will be painted. And hopefully that will get done in the next 3 to 4 weeks, pending weather. The next tank that they're going to focus on is the Dorothy Nichols tank. The good news here is that the initial estimates for this particular project was about $1.5 million. The cost of the bid that we're looking to fund this project is $885,000. That will allow us to spend additional money elsewhere on water improvement projects throughout town. So that's really good news. Safe routes to school and the transportation alternative set aside project. This is a lot of information on one chart. Basically, this is $2 million that have been awarded to the city of Smithville over the next 3 years to improve sidewalks, provide ADA compliant sidewalks and ramps throughout town. There's no match for the Safe Routes to School sidewalk that runs from the old, excuse me, what's now the elementary school to MLK. That's $878,000 worth of funding. And then the other 2 projects you can see listed here. Excuse me. Road repairs. That's a subject that's near and dear to everyone's heart. There are 18 roads that we're going to repair. We call it the paving season. Wait, one. In the fall, the temperatures are really good to allow us to get a lot of streets paved. If you recall, a couple of weeks back, we had Main Street seal coated and restriped. It caused a couple of concerns amongst business owners, but overall, it's the facelift I think the city needed. And more importantly, it was paid for by Amazon Studios. They were coming back after the COVID hiatus, excuse me, that they took. And I had this planned to be completed the week they wanted to shoot. And they said, Robert, what can we do to make you not pay the street? And I said, we'll pay for it. And they did. So $32,000. Thank you, Amazon Studios. Again, minimal impact to the taxpayers. The rest of the streets you see here were identified by priority and will be repaved, refurbished as the county schedule will allow. All of the equipment we use to repave is owned by the county, so we're at the mercy of their schedule. If you do see a pothole or a curb or a street you think is a hazard needs repaired, use C-Click Fix, and it will send a work order to the proper department and we'll get your pothole repaired. Another infrastructure project that we've been working on, at least since I've been here 7 years almost, is the SH95 expansion from Loop 230 at the rec center to the high school. This project started out at $3.4 million back in 2014. The cost of the project now is north of $8 million. It did not include utilities relocation. That was a cost that the city would have to pick up. And we just don't have it. Our budget's $12.4 million and it cost 2.7 to relocate the utilities. So we did some partnering with Commissioner Beckett, John Cyrier, Kirk Watson, and they passed a bill, Senate Bill 1512, that will actually pay for the utilities relocation. And that takes a great burden off of us financially. This project is scheduled to let in 2021, in January. So in the next 18 months, hopefully this widening of Highway 95 between the rec center and the high school will be complete. It will include sidewalks and street lights. So long overdue, and it'll make that stretch of highway much safer. Another project, again, drainage, that we've been trying to do since the flood started back in 2015, is 2nd Street drainage improvement from Gresham all the way to Highway 95. Along this yellow line path, there's about 12 to 14 businesses that continuously flood. The problem is the cost is $1.8 million to engineer this solution. I've applied for various grants over the years, most of which have been denied. Hurricane Harvey grant was denied. We're applying for 4416. We're still in the running for that to get the $1.8 million to complete this project. We're also seeking funding under GLO, the Land Office, CDBG MIT funding, Community Development Block Grant, mitigation funding. This is a pool of money that's $2.3 billion with a B, of which we've applied for $10 million of citywide drainage improvements. This is one of those projects. So, we're going to keep swinging at it and hopefully get this money to resolve a long-standing issue of drainage along Main Street and along this yellow path. And this shows you what needs to be done. We're going to upgrade the drain, actually underground lines and the road. So this is what makes it so costly. That's it for infrastructure projects. I want to spend a little time on development projects. What's coming down the pike? What housing are we talking about? What businesses? And basically, I want to start with the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs Home Grant Program. This is a program whereby those eligible can receive a new home up to $100,000 in value. It's a $5,000 match, and I'm happy to report that 2 homes were constructed and just occupied within the last month at 207 Gentry and 307 Yeager. As you can see, they are beautiful houses that increase our tax roll and give relief to those people who are living in what was really not livable. So it's a program that I want to continue. With these 2 houses, this is now the 20th and 21st home built under the Home Grant Program since 2003. So it's a great program. The new budget year in 2021, we'll begin taking applications for additional home grant houses. Stay tuned for that. Another development project is Go Big Solar. This is a 1 megawatt solar installation that utilizes single axis tracking solar arrays to produce energy that the city will purchase. Under our current wholesale power agreement, the city can purchase up to 15% of its energy from alternative sources. Go Big Solar and the city entered into an agreement last year to provide up to 6% of that 15%. It will provide $40,000 of savings a year. Now, we are still working out some particulars with respect to a 380 economic development agreement, and we hope to start construction in December of 2020. This is a $1.6 million developer investment, and they have agreed to annex into the city. Ardent River Estates, quite a success story here. I mean, you're familiar with the subdivision, 50 homes. Originally, it was going to take 3 years to sell all the lots, but I'm pleased to report that most of those lots have been sold. There are 5 lots remaining, and it's a very nice subdivision. If you haven't seen it, take the time to go to drive through it. And if you want to buy a lot, pick one up. All of these homes, the construction and the subdivision was much needed, and we hope more subdivisions and developments come in the future, which I'll talk about in a moment. One of those subdivisions is called the M5 subdivision between 7th Street and Webb Street. This is a 32 home planned subdivision on 10.65 acres. The estimated value of the completed subdivision will be $7.2 million added to the tax roll. This is a $1.5 million developer investment. The target range of the houses are 225 to 285,000 apiece. We are currently waiting for a third-party engineering firm to validate the construction drawings and the design. As always, drainage is an issue anywhere in town, but especially on 7th Street. And basically, the developer must manage their water. The post-development flow has to be equal to or better than the pre-development flow. And the city will not issue a building permit until that is validated. Another subdivision, Woodrose Place, 3-acre subdivision, 14 homes. It's between the pond, Webb Street, and Texaco. You can see the yellow area here. Estimated value complete is $3.375 million, another $1.5 million developer investment. The target range of the housing is $200,000 to $225,000, but construction planned to start in the spring of 2021. Similarly to the N5 subdivision and any subdivision that comes to Smithville, you have to address the drainage. So that third-party review is pending, and the analysis is also pending with respect to how you're going to handle your water. But if this is approved and they can prove that they indeed are managing the water appropriately, this will add another 14 homes to our housing in Smithville. Another project that's outside the city limits but involved the city, as they'll be using all of our utility services, is Creekside RV Park. This is a 179 space RV park on 16 acres to the east of town. This is a $1 to $2 million developer investment. And the thing that has to happen is that a water line has to be extended out to the RV park to provide water. And that is on the developer's nickel. Don't know the status. It's kind of stalled at the moment, but we look forward to working with Mr. Simmons and his group to get this completed. One that just I found out about a month and a half ago is Saddle Estate subdivision. This is off of Loop 230. It's a 29-home subdivision. We're going to provide all the services to it. Currently is not in the city limits, and that's something that we're working with the developer on to voluntarily annex them. There are some issues. You need to apply to TxDOT to get a driveway permit. And again, like every other development, you have to take care of your water. I don't have any official plans. This is just a concept drawing, but look forward to working with the developer in the future. Here's one that you didn't know about. Family Dollar Store. Okay. Excuse me. This is on the McMahon property that's currently zoned C3 between the Bobby Barnett house and the Texaco. Excuse me, hold on. Excuse me. Talk about yourself. All right. This property is on a 1.29 acre tract. And for me, I always get Family Dollar, Dollar General, Dollar Tree all mixed up. So I did some research. Apparently Dollar Tree bought out Family Dollar. They are competitors to Dollar General. Nonetheless, this would be a nice addition to our suite of stores that we currently have on Loop 230. I have no official plans. I just got this word 7 days ago. Another development project, excuse me, that's near and dear to April's heart is the rebuilding of the chamber offices, the Railroad Museum, and the Visitor Center. We've selected a site, and you can see the preliminary plans on the left there, lower left. All the insurance money has been received, and we're ready to build. We're looking to hopefully do a groundbreaking in December 2020. And you can see a concept drawing what the outside is going to look like. Donations will be accepted. And I'm sure April can talk more about that at another time about how to donate if you choose to do so. The good news is that the Union Pacific Railroad has approved the plan. And we're waiting for final ADA approval from the state before we get started. Okay, that's development projects and infrastructure projects. It's still not all that we're working on, but it's all that I could fit into today's presentation. Now I'm at a point where I want to talk about 5 things you need to know as a citizen of Smithville, Texas, the center of the universe. Number 1, today is National First Responders Appreciation Day. If you know a first responder, give them a hug or just tell them thank you. These folks are first on the spot. You know, they go toward the danger. I'm really proud of our fire department, the police, and ambulance services for the job that they do. So if you haven't done so, thank a responder. Number 2, the city council voted to approve a $10,000 homestead tax exemption back in June of 2020. If you are 65 years or older or disabled, you are now eligible for $10,000 off your primary residence if you file that exemption with BCAD on January 1st. This is something that we needed to do for quite some time, and I'm very proud of the council for passing this ordinance to allow this exemption. I have 6 years to go yet, but I look forward to it once I get there. Number 3, City Council also worked to deal with PHI Air Medical for no-cost emergency air transport of any citizen that lives inside the city limits. So if you want to voluntarily annex, this would be a benefit if you need it, because I don't think you realize, or the average person realizes, that an air ambulance transport from Smithville to Austin costs $45,000 to $50,000. And that's just crazy to me. So we entered into a contract with PHI Air Medical for $13,000 back in April of 2020. So if you are an individual who requires or has utilized this service, I want to let you know now it's no cost to you going forward. 5 citizens have been transported year to date. So the cost of the premium has by far paid for itself. Number 4, per city ordinance, all political signs must be removed within 7 days after an election. Early voting ends on Friday, October 30th at 7 p.m. There's been about 3,000 people come through City Hall since early voting started. Don't care who you vote for, just vote. Election day is Tuesday, November 3rd. Polls are open 7 to 7. And again, you have 7 days after the election to remove your sign. Number 5. Change is a universal constant. We must manage our growth in a manner that preserves and protects our small town look, charm, and feel without jeopardizing our uniqueness. New businesses are opening. New homes are being built. In fact, I estimated in the next 18 to 24 months, an additional 100 new homes could be built in all the subdivisions that I've talked to you about. We're working with a developer to do a tiny home subdivision. So we're growing. We continue to evolve as a community. And I really want to thank everyone who serves on boards or committees or just gives their time and or money to our community. It takes a village. I like to think we are a community of unity. And when I took this job almost 7 years ago, I just want to leave it better than I found it. We've got so much accomplished, but there's still a lot to do. And I want to thank my staff, the city council, and all the citizens for their input and involvement. To that point, stay informed, get involved, and make a difference. That's my presentation. Any questions?
Thank you, Robert. That was excellent. And you even surprised me on some things. As I said, I read the sneak peek, and I heard a Family Dollar. That's pretty exciting. I hope that actually comes to pass. For those of you folks that are with us, be sure and type in your questions into the Q&A. We'll give it a couple of more minutes to see if anybody has any questions. I can't imagine people don't have questions. This is a pretty exciting, pretty meaty, pretty robust presentation today. Lots going on in our city. if nobody has a question, I'm certain I could come up with a couple for you.
Well, there's some in the chat. Let me look in the chat room. So I can't see.
So I don't see any specific questions for you, Robert. Jana Helbish has asked if the presentation will be available. It certainly will. We'll put it on our Facebook and our website along with the slides. I do now see a question from Ryan Savage. How do we track the progress of activities that you mentioned?
You can get on the distribution list for my monthly city manager update. That's a 5 or 6 page, this is what's going on. And typically any of the projects that I've mentioned, there's a write-up on as far as the status goes. So if you want to send me your email address, I'd be happy to put you on the distribution, but they're also, my city manager updates are on the webpage, the city webpage under city manager updates, if you want to take a look at past updates. So
I just got a text message question. Again, feel free to type into the chat box or the Q&A box if you have questions, but I'll be glad to read this off. The question is, can you explain how the C-Click Fix program works and where we can go to participate?
certainly. Am I still sharing?
You are not. You can go back to sharing if you like.
I do, because I have a link to the C-Click
Yeah,
Fix.
go ahead.
See if I can do that. How do I go back? Okay. Ooh. All right, so if you can still hear me, yes?
Yes.
Okay. C-Click Fix in the corner of the website is right here. There's 2 ways to get the C-Click Fix. You can do it on whatever smartphone that you have, Android or Apple. You type in C-Click Fix Smithville and it will download it to your device, or you can use a computer. And it's as simple as clicking on a button that says Issues or Submit New Request. And you do so. It's showing I'm at City Hall, confirm location, and you enter whatever the issue is. The system itself will ask you, is it a pothole? Is it graffiti? Electrical issue? And you just fill out the form, you hit send, and it gets routed to the department and the department head responsible to close out that particular issue. Correspondence can then happen between you and that department head, and once the issue is resolved, you'll receive a notice saying the issue's been closed. Okay.
Okay, we have a couple more questions, Robert. Amberly Palmer is asking if you would share your email address. If you're okay with that, I can type that into the.
Certainly.
I'll type that into the chat for you.
City manager at ci.smithville.tx.us.
Did everyone hear that? You want to repeat that, Robert?
City manager. We'll type it in the text. It's all
okay. I'll do it.
City manager at ci.smithville.tx.us. I didn't pick it. Sorry, it's so long. That's what it is.
There's a question from Richard Hutchins. If the planned airport runway extension expected to increase air traffic usage?
The airport currently, we do 25 to 30 takeoffs and landings per day, which is phenomenal. There are 45 base aircraft. The expansion of the airport is going to depend upon Bluebonnet putting their massive line underground. We can't do it until that line's underground. That's about $1.5 million proposition. Once we get Bluebonnet to agree to do that, then we can receive funding from the state at 90-10 match to pay for the runway extension from 4,000 to 5,000 feet. To answer your question, yes, having a 5,000-foot runway is of economic benefit and would increase the airport traffic at 84R.
Okay, with regard to your infrastructure updates, can you give any updates regarding internet is the question. I think you must have talked about internet inside the city limits.
We just received a a grant to do that, and we've increased the number of citizen ports or free ports throughout town, at the gazebo, Bluebonnet Circle, Riverbend Park. So yes, we have expanded our internet presence.
And I'll remind MLK Park as well.
Yeah,
I'll remind everyone that's listening that Bastrop County has just completed a survey and is working with a large committee of community leaders throughout the county to hopefully bring more internet into the unincorporated areas. I'd be glad to send information to anyone that needs that. And Jill also is reminding us that Kyleburg Park has internet access as well. The chamber was very happy to partner with the city on that, and will be responsible for maintaining one of those sites as well. So we're excited about that. Does anyone else have any questions for our city manager today? A follow-up on the airport question was, will jet service be added?
You talk about Jet A? No, not at this time. When we get the 5,000-foot runway, we can apply for the funding to get Jet A, which is a higher grade fuel than low lead that we have out there now, but not at this time.
And are there plans to add a Are there plans to add a non-visual landing system at the airport?
Is this Mr. McKenna asking these questions? Just
no,
kidding.
This is Amberly Palmer, actually.
Oh, awesome. Well, okay, so an obstruction, to answer that question, an obstruction survey was completed last year under a grant. We are in the process of developing instrument approach procedures that are being reviewed by the FAA at this time. So we're getting there.
Okay, well, are there any other questions? And if you think of some, in the meantime, our city manager has very kindly agreed to tell us who our door prize winners. I want to again thank Jana Helbush, Realtor, All City Real Estate, for being a sponsor of our door prizes today. Robert, do you have the names of our winners?
I do.
Well, go ahead.
Well, hold on.
Well, while he's
Okay.
up, go ahead, Robert.
The first winner is for a Lumberyard Studio $25 gift certificate, Norman Jones.
All right, Norman.
Larry's Barbershop, 1 adult and 1 child haircut. The winner is Mr. Richard Hutchins. Smithville General Store, $25 gift certificate from Jenna Helbush, Realtor, All City Real Estate, goes to Amberly Palmer.
All right, Amberly.
Texas Trails Antiques and Marketplace, $25 gift certificate goes to Jennifer Lynch.
Oh, Jennifer Lynch. All right.
City Secretary.
So for those of you that are winners, just contact us here at the chamber. Just call us and we'll get those prizes to you. Thank you so much, Robert, for giving us that great update today and for being such a good sport and reading off our winners today. We really appreciate you. I want to also acknowledge the chamber has entered into a great partnership with the city of Smithville for facade grants for businesses that are within our city limits. We gave out our first new facade grant just last week to Rio Social House. If you or anyone that you know owns a brick and mortar business within the city limits of Smithville, just call us and we'll give out those facade grants until we run out. You'll have to fill out an application and there's some things you need to do, but we're very excited to have that partnership with the city. Again, I want to remind everybody, as Robert told us, we are excited to say that it looks like we're going to get to start rebuilding our building. Right now we do have our groundbreaking scheduled for December 7th at 10 a.m. We'll be sending out invitations. It'll be outside, masks are required, and we'll have some gold shovels and hats for you as we do a groundbreaking. We are, of course, always looking for donations. We did do quite a bit of fundraising immediately after the fire. We are now accepting, people can purchase pavers to put your name on the pavers to go out in front of the building. And of course, any donations are appreciated. And we do have a 501c3, so it's all tax deductible. Just contact us here at the chamber. I'll remind you that our next luncheon is our virtual luncheon is November 18th. Judge Paul Poppy will be giving us the state of the county. And unless anyone else has any other questions, which I haven't seen any pop up, it looks like we have finished with 9 minutes to spare. Well done, everyone.
Thank you very much, April, for the opportunity. It was strange presenting it to myself.
It does kind of feel like you're just sitting there talking, but everyone was listening, I promise. They all heard you. Thank you again to Blue Bonnet Electric for being our sponsor today, and to Jana Helbush for sponsoring our door prizes. Thanks, everyone. That's the end of our meeting. Bye-bye.